One. We are live. Yay. Thank you for joining us in our part two of our Dragon Bane talks, where we are talking about doing Dragon Bane at Origins Gen Con. With me is Jonathan and James as well. Thank you guys for being here and talking up this stuff. The more and more I'm reading it, the more I'm playing it, the more I love it. Absolutely. uh, Jonathan's had some really good experiences with Dragon Bane the past week or two. I think your talk with James last week has kind of turned the safeties off on him. Have you told James?
I haven't. I haven't.
You need to share, brother. It was awesome.
So I know we talked about it last time, and you said you had a TPK,
Oh yeah,
and I hadn't had anybody even
He's
do
played it
death
like
saving throws.
6 times, ran like 6 times or something.
And I ran. So I ran on Monday. It was the second part to a one shot. This one group of people, I can never do a one shot with them. It always turns into a second.
they overthink
target.
it.
It always happens. But long story short, I out of three of the players, two of them went down. And I tell you, my players actually had a great idea to immortalize their characters. I could potentially use their ghosts or their bodies there in the dungeon. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. So, I'll add it to the roll chart and everything. But I ran Temple of the Purple Flame on Wednesday night. Was it Wednesday night?
How many
No.
went into the portal?
No, Thursday night. Oh no, they didn't even get to the portal. Two players fell down the trap door. They took 14 points of bludgeoning damage first off. It was and then they walked out to the manticore. They heard, the scratching on the walls and the roar, and they were like, "Oh, surely that's fine." It wasn't fine. The other two, because they had just said, "Hey, we're gonna split up. We'll go this way. We'll go that way."
I love when a party comes together like that.
And when they split up, as soon as he said we split up, I had them roll for the spot hidden. They fell down the trap, so they split up technically. The other two yelled down, "Hey, we'll come find you." They walked into the altar room, roll on the table, murders Briars. You know how it ends. How it ends. I had a TPK.
Nice.
I'm so proud of you.
Very, very good. Very good. I know.
I'm going to give you some homework, Jonathan.
Okay.
The whole use their bodies and use their ghosts.
I like it
for future stuff.
Mhm.
That's a well used trope.
Yeah.
And my man, let your evilness flow through.
Exactly.
Good. Let the dark side flow.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
They touched on it a really good bit in the movie too. Thank God. I'm sorry. I don't know if anybody else has watched the new D&D movie, but I loved it. I absolutely thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was, and they touched on so many things in the trailer that you think, oh, these are spoiling it. No. I mean, there's like the one thing where they're, in the trailer where they're talking, where they're casting the speak with dead spell, on the corpse, and you think, well, that's just going to be the joke there. That's it, right? No.
Oh, it was. The whole scene was great. The whole scene was great.
It was amazing, and it's nothing we all haven't done playing D&D or Dragon Bane or something like that, and just fell into that rabbit hole. And you're like, okay, we wasted the entire night here.
There went 2 hours. I think as the DMs, I think we've all experienced that hundreds of times. Where, all right, well, let me just rip that up.
Exactly. Oh, I can't tell you how many.
One always has to remember that the average adventuring party, and it doesn't matter their age, they can be 16, they can be 60.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm referring to the players. Okay. Their ages can be stumped for 2-3 sessions off a riddle for a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have they got stuck for 20 minutes just in front of a door because they weren't sure if it was trapped or not?
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah.
3 hours of actual time.
I mean, that's the reason why when I ran that Legends of Role Playing tournament, I'm sad I didn't get to run it this year at Gary Con. I didn't get to go Gary Con. That's the worst thing I hated. That's one thing I hated the most, and not getting to run that again. Because last year I ran it for like the first time. I was very honored to get asked to do it. I mean, running for absolute is just like the game says, Legends. I mean, these guys know the first edition book, D&D book, backwards and forwards, and my team won. I mean, and won huge by like a huge margin. My guys were like dice team 6. They were not fooling. They came. I had the characters all set around the table. So I was like, where you sit is your characters. We're not going to waste time hemming and hawing on whose characters we're on a clock here. We got 4 hours to get as much points in this adventure as we can. And then that's it. But no, we these guys, I mean, they're in the back and they're going through this tablet, like going through this spreadsheet. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, we all talked last night, and like, we were optimizing which player was best to run which type of character, who's best to run in a mage, who's best to run in a paladin, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. you know but they just destroyed the game. I mean, they just took it and just shook it upside down and just waited for a change fall out of his pockets. I mean, they made no mistakes. And all the other players, I mean, the game, the scenario was Tomb of Horrors, basically. It was Death Trap City. Everywhere, trap. 5 feet, trap. And they kept getting paranoid by the traps, the other teams, and just got befuddled. I mean, they kept messing with the traps or scared of going into one area because of traps, and my guys are just like, we're just gonna. Yeah, I'm just gonna float the thief down there to the end. I'm like,
yep,
brilliant. But yeah. But no, we're here to talk about Dragonbane. Specifically, we want to get into the rules of the game. Now, for you guys who are running games with us at Origins and Gen Con, I did send in the Facebook chat the updated rules, the latest version, the final version of Dragonbane. Thanks to Jonathan. Jonathan's got that for us, and it is a good bit different from like the beta or even the quick starter. Yeah, the quick starter Ritter mount, way different
from the
that.
quick start all the way to this. It's
yeah. So pay attention. Make your notes between if you're just operating off of if you're coming to the con and just operating off the quick start, you definitely want to make some notes in the margins. This is the way it's done in the final version, because we all want to, we all are going to have varying games based on our play styles and the players, and and how there's optional rules in the game that you don't have to use, which is fine. But I think definitely the basic parts of the rules, we should all be on the same page, and we should all operate from the final rule set, whether you're running it off the tablet or again you're making notes in your quick start. That's fine. I will have at Origins, and won't have it at Origins. They won't have them in print yet, but I will have at Gen Con GM screens and at least a starter set for everybody. And I'm assuming the starter set is going to have the updated rules in it. I just feel like it will. It's not just going to have like the quick start Ritter mount. I don't think that's going to be part of it. I think it's going to have the actual rule set, which is only a little over 100 pages anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
And so we're I would like to make sure that we're all operating off the fourth and final rule set, and we're using that as our base, and then from there we interpret it with our own style and stuff like that, and have a great time. So one thing I was skimming through the book again today, and the one thing that really struck me was just like right at the preface, and I'm going to share my screen in here. Give me just a moment to get that going here.
Well, while you're doing that, I printed my thank you to the Louisville Public Library, because I've been using them I've printed the entire thing. I've got all the pages marked. I've got all the little things marked to make it easier for me. So I'm ready
Got
to
it.
run. I am ready to run.
Ready to rock this thing. Well, you're going to be running it again at Atacon and Lexicon in a couple weeks. So
Yep.
really excited to have that going. So this will be your first actual con play
Mhm.
of running Dragonbane. I'm really excited to hear what they say about it. I know the people who are going to play it are going to like freak out once they start playing it and just seeing how awesome it was. So yeah, right here at the preface, I just was just skimming through it because you never tend to read these, when you're looking at the book or what is a role playing game, you should because there's some really good info in there that even old grognards and stuff like that, and people who are experienced with running games like like all of us are, can get. One thing, it does definitely talk about how the game has this version of Dragonbane, or Dragonbane itself has basically been around since the 80s.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was a direct translation of Magic World, which is a Chaosium book. It was part of their basic role playing set. Lynn Willis helped write that. She was like one of the big three I like to call at Chaosium. And I'll be seeing her next weekend, so don't think I won't be bending her ear about Dragonbane. you know, and because I know she just wrote Dragon Magic World, so I'll be like, do you know that these guys, basically just ripped right off of you and just made an awesome game and see what she knows about it. So that was really cool to find out because I'm just a huge fan of Chaosium stuff. They're another group that I don't think can do any wrong. All their stuff is good stuff. But yeah, so yeah, you get into the game, and I know I'm just scrolling through now. This part I actually have already put on a paper, and I'm gonna print it out like 11 by 17 big paper, and probably have them laminated
Hmm.
for each table, so you can just set it out there, and they can just read it as they're coming in, and setting up and getting their dice on the table and stuff. So it already just kind of sets the mood, it gives like the very brief prehistory and like the culture of this world, you know, about how dragons were the extreme law and demons were extreme chaos, and how
Yep.
it shaped the world. So it's a really good thing about how it just kind of lays it out for the people as they're coming into the table. This is what you're in for. This is what we're playing in. But yeah, really, really good stuff. You're using most of your D&D type dice, especially D20s. You're using pretty much your same kind of D&D kind of stuff. Strength, Constitution, Agility, intelligence, willpower. I like using willpower in there instead of wisdom. I do like that. Charisma, hit points, and you got willpower points to fuel your abilities. And then GM and NPC. So yeah, the way that they measure time is really good in here too. They use it. This is straight from Mutant Zero engine, Year Zero engine, and same stuff you would find in Blade Runner. No. What's the other games I'm thinking about,
Alien.
James? Alien, Twilight 2000 definitely uses this, and it's almost you hear like military guys use this kind of jargon when they're
Mhm.
talking about time. Not they don't really say rounds 10 seconds. They say a minute, something like that. But yeah, but a stretch. Usually when soldiers are talking about stretch, just a short stretch. We'll go out and smoke for a stretch. 15 minutes or something like that. But yeah, shift they consider like six hours or so. Something like that. So I like how it kind of just breaks that down. Really, really easy for you. Yeah, but yeah, they have the six different kin: human, halfling, dwarf, elf, mallard, and wolfkin. And I can't tell you, I know one of the GMs who was I got hornswoggled, I guess I'll say, into running some of this stuff. Dragonbane, he's like, Mallard, is this a duck? I'm a horror GM, Matt. I'm like, yeah, wait till you get a hold of that duck. It's okay, man. There's still
So
plenty of horror around.
so I actually know why Sweden loves ducks. So it deals with Disney, or the whole Mickey Mouse thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, Daffy Duck and Donald Duck were much bigger over there in Sweden than Mickey Mouse and all the other gangs. So the
Oh.
duck is just a prominent feature within the Swedish, and I could be completely wrong, but this is what I've heard and read. So if anybody's out there, please correct me, but that's what I've been told and heard. So that's why mallards are in the game.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. There's a lot of wetlands,
Mhm.
there. So yeah, I sounds right to me. Yeah, but yeah, like the humans, humans were the last born. There were all the other ones who gone on before them, the dwarves, the elves, all of them, came before the humans. But they are definitely the most prodigious. They're everywhere. Yeah, but they're still in almost not quite stepped out of primitive kind of culture. I mean, they're still living in very small towns, clustered around a castle or palace. It's still very low tech, very, you know, Iron Age kind of stuff
Mhm.
going on here. Very very cool. Which I dig. Their adaptive ability. I mean, their ability is the ability to be adaptive. They can, when they're rolling for a skill, you can choose to roll using another skill of your choice. You got to tell the GM how you're doing it. So yeah, the GM has the final word, but it should be lenient. So yeah, so give me an example, Jonathan. Has anybody done that in one of your games, or what would you think would be a good use of the adaptive ability?
Nobody's actually really used. I mean, a couple players have used their adaptive, or not the adaptive, but the heroic abilities.
Uh huh.
But they haven't really used the heroic abilities that are more for the kins, that are kin specific. Um, Other
Yeah.
than ill-tempered, every Mallard player that joins my table, they always use
Yeah.
ill-tempered,
Yeah. If
but
you're not using that, I don't know
they're
what
the
you're doing.
only ones that are using the specific kin-related heroic abilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to say it was the wizard, the guy playing the wizard.
Yeah.
Archmaster
Yeah, and because his,
or Archmage.
melee skills were so low, he used adaptive to roll his magic stat to like throw his staff at the purple flame to see if he could.
I
I
like
mean,
that.
it went nowhere,
Yeah.
but he did think outside the box.
I like that. It puts like a magical flourish on the attack. I
Yeah.
can dig that.
Well, it wasn't so much a magical flourish on the attack. He knew the flame was magical. It's purple.
Oh,
So he was
well,
trying to
yeah.
use his arcane knowledge to guide
Okay.
him. And I was like, yeah, that works.
Yeah. Again, GM being lenient. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So yeah. Then we have the halflings and the dwarves. The halflings are typical Tolkien halflings. They live in little holes and like to eat food and what was it they said they have earthen dwellings with well-stocked larders. Yeah, the most amiable races, really. Uh,
Now, I have to say something on this.
yeah,
When I ran those two games back to back, the guy
yeah.
playing the halfling was also smoking a pork butt, frying wings. What the hell? There was quail involved. He was cooking like mad and everything else. And what I truly loved about him, and I was kind of lenient towards him, was that he kept forgetting his special power where he got like a boon on the dodge die.
Yeah, yeah,
He was
yeah,
playing into his character. He just didn't realize it.
yeah.
Exactly. It was like, man, you just need to be like 2 feet shorter and have an apron.
Nice, nice. He was down for his 11sies. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like you said, their kin ability is they're hard to catch, and that's right out of Tolkien when he was describing hobbits. Yeah, they're
Mhm.
hard to find. One, two, they're almost impossible to catch. Yeah, because they're short to the ground and quick.
I mean,
Uh,
let's put it to you this way: all those ring wraiths couldn't find him, so there you
exactly,
go.
exactly. Yeah, it was shown really well in the movies. It's like first level thieves against 10th level death knights.
Mhm.
Just if they can get them, they're gone. But they got to get them first. But yeah, Dwarves, yeah, the oldest of the other folk. Again, this is very Tolkien, because in the Silmarillion you would read where the dwarves were created first. The elves were supposed to be created first,
Mhm.
but the one of the angels who were supposed to Maiar, I believe what they're called, was kind of cheated and made the dwarves in the cave and hid them, and then Ao, or the god or whoever it was like, okay, they need to sleep in these caves till the elves come out, and then you can bring them out. So even though they were technically created first, they weren't alive in the world until later. So yeah, immensely proud, traditional people. And again, these are generalities. Not every dwarf has to be this way. It
Mhm.
could be an old drunk sitting up in the corner somewhere, or a scholar. It doesn't really matter. But they tend to
My
be
favorite is Old Drunken Scholar.
an old drunken scholar. Exactly. I mean, you don't know nothing, you young whippersnapper. Yeah. Yeah, but they tend to be unforgiving. You can activate this ability when attacking someone who's harmed you in the past. So you're like, and get a boon in a row. You're like, you son of a bitch. There
Yep.
you are. Basically what that is. So
If
yeah,
anybody wants pointers, just role play me.
exactly.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. Uh, these are then they have the elves. Yeah, these tend to be like really tall, graceful elves again, like Tolkien elves. As an elf, you can meditate deeply during an extra rest. You can heal an additional D6 hit points and a D6 willpower points. So you can do both according to this. It says you can do D6 and a D6 willpower. So you recover from an additional condition as well. And so all three of these. So yeah, you're completely unresponsive during your meditation and cannot be awakened. So you fall into a trance, basically. Yeah. Cool. Absolutely great. Let's see. And then we have, yeah, my favorite character. I honestly, yeah, I would play this every day and twice on Sunday, is the Mallard. I just love the Mallard, man. I was like, Howard the Duck, let's go. Yeah. Put him in a suit of armor. We're ready to rock this
Good
thing.
to go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the origins of them, nobody really knows where they came from. Were they magically created? Who knows? But they're here, and we're dealing with them. But yeah, they can. They are ill tempered, like what Jonathan was saying earlier. I used it. I kind of pushed the game when some of the players were being like, I don't know, I don't go down this hallway. I'm like, yeah, there's a goblin down there. I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going.
The
Yeah.
Mallard's the one that got stuck in hell.
Oh well, perfect. See, there you go. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
now you need a demon duck, a demon mallard.
Yeah.
He does. I don't.
Yeah. Demon duck. Nice. So yeah, you get a boon to whatever you're doing because you're focused on that, but you also you get the angry condition,
Mhm.
already, if not already. So yeah, this ability cannot be used for rolls against intelligence or intellect based skills. Makes sense.
Mhm.
You're angry, you're not thinking. And
Exactly.
they have the additional ability to web feet. They get a boon to all swimming rolls. I mean, look at them feet. And yeah, makes sense. So yeah, yeah. So they move at full speed or underwater. Yeah, excellent. So and then the wolfkin. The last one's the wolfkin. Basically, werewolves on full time. Yeah. So they'd have really keen hunting instincts. They can use this. Catch a scent of the prey counts as an action in combat. You follow the scent of the prey for a full day, and you spend another further one willpower non-action to gain a boon for an attack against your prey because you've been studying them, I assume. Excellent.
Mm.
Yeah, great hunting instincts. And then we have the professions. You have your artisan, bard, fighter, hunter, knight. These are the classes, that you would call in D&D, all the different ones.
And
We won't,
I've had
huh?
players ask me, why should I be an artisan? Why should I be a scholar? Why should I be a
Look,
merchant?
look at that dude. I'd be an artisan every day. Heck yeah, dude.
Well, I told
Well,
them, I was like,
Matthew,
just
we
because,
have shaved heads. You just got to catch on.
I
yeah,
know, right?
yeah. Just because you're an artisan doesn't mean you can't have plate mail. Doesn't mean
Yeah,
you can't have that broad sword.
you made
It
it.
just,
Yeah.
plain and simple. Like, you can still have all the armor, you can still have all the cool things. Why
Yeah.
not?
Look at all this gear he can have. Yeah, absolutely. and they have skills and axes, hammers, knives. They got all great weapon skills and stuff like that. So that's what we're talking about. So yeah, and they have those abilities, those heroic abilities. Yeah. Um, which would come very handy. Do you need to fix that armor? Come over here. I got you taken
Mhm.
care of. The bard. We got the bard. you know, the classic bard type. The entertainer type, not the dark sun assassin type. Although they could be, they could be. Yeah, but your skills are acrobatics, bluffing, evade, knives. Definitely, know how to sneak around and get stuff. You're not a full out thief, but
Mhm.
but you know your way around an inn. Yeah, absolutely. Um, and then we have just our straight up classic fighter, just go right up the gut and take him out, guy. All his skills are weapons. That's all he
Yeah.
does all day long. That's all I know is weapons. And the heroic ability is the veteran ability. Yeah, look at the nicknames for these Gravemaker, Grimjaw, with Cold Steel, the Butcher. So they know what we're talking about when we're playing fighters. Hunters. This is not quite a ranger. This is a hunter. This is a person who has great ability in bushcraft. What we call wilderness survival or something like that. Hunting and fishing. Stuff like that. Doesn't it can have a companion,
Mhm.
like a ranger, but doesn't have like those magical ranger abilities, which we've known so much. I think rangers, and especially in D&D, can be a little OP,
Hmm.
and they made sure to kind of tone it down on this one. So I'm glad to see that. Did I strike a nerve there,
Uh,
Jonathan?
I'm just surprised because I don't hear that ever. Nobody ever says the Ranger is OP.
I think
actually, when they mathed it out, the Ranger is the weakest class in 5e
really.
until you got into Unearthed Arcana and allowed stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was they nerfed it hard. Now old school Rangers,
Yeah, maybe
they
that's what
they
I'm
they
thinking of.
they were able to do stuff, and of course, you get into 3.5 and Pathfinder. I mean, what feat
Yeah,
tree did you take? Yeah, whatever.
yeah, yeah. So then we come to the knight, which is a fighter with a title. Basically,
It's
uh,
exactly
you know,
what it is.
yeah. They do everything a fighter can, but they tend to have a noble purpose. They have a code that they live by. They might not be as cold or unforgiving as your fighter would. They do have, the demands for chivalry and a noble mind are often combined with a placable hatred for anything deemed contrary to the spirit of the oath. So yeah, definitely.
that just makes me think they're more eloquent when they tell you to piss off.
Exactly. They just yeah. Yeah, they're definitely one of those people who go, I don't know where you live, but I bet it ends in park. You know? Yeah, something like that. Probably the best insult I ever heard at a table one time. I was like, wow. Then the mage, yeah, the weakest of the fighting ones, but they make up more to make up for it in magic. They don't get a heroic ability. Their heroic ability is magic.
Mm-hmm.
They use magic. They can select a school of magic, animism, elementalism, or mentalism, and then there is like a general category as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, we probably won't get too much into magic tonight. We're just talking about the start of it. The mariner. I mean, yeah, I see what you're talking about, Jonathan. Why would somebody play a mariner? Well, if we're going to be near the ocean or even a river, you definitely want a mariner, some kind of buccaneer type.
There is, and
I don't know. Treasure Island,
Yeah, maybe.
Huckleberry Finn.
that's the only.
I have no idea why to do this.
This is the only one that does get me a little bit. Now, I've already read through the adventures. I understand why, there's parts that the Mariner can play in perfectly.
Yeah,
But there are no oceans. That's the thing.
in
That's
this
the
area.
kicker.
Yeah,
I know they're still working to expand the whole
world.
thing.
Yeah.
Or well, they've already have it expanded. They're just bringing it back into the new edition that they're doing. But I really had to sell this one, and I actually have had 2 people play a Mariner, and they enjoyed it. They enjoyed it, but it's until you really get to the sea, you're just another fighter, kind of thing.
I prefer the term Jack Sparrow, but anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, they're pirates, and I mean, heck, honestly, to a point, all of the characters are pirates to some extent because they're out here for booty, they're out here for treasure.
Yeah.
Then the merchant, this is the guy who can make the deal for you. This would be the face of the group. Could be. They're really good at bartering, bluffing, all that kind of stuff. Um, Spotting stuff, absolutely. Treasure hunter, that'd be a really great ability to have. Wouldn't it be nice to know if you're in the dungeon, if it's worth taking out of there or not? When you got to remember your encumbrance rules. Yeah, ask this guy, he'll tell you.
If I remember correctly, the treasure hunter is specifically the heroic ability says specifically that they just look at the GM and say, okay, where's the most valuable thing here? And they tell you where it is.
Yeah. Exactly. Is this really Prada, or is this a knockoff? Is this Prada, or is this a knockoff Prada? Come on, man. And then the scholar type, again, not somebody you would think that would be important in a Dragonbane game, like a high fantasy sort of game. But yeah, this guy is the smart guy. He's the brains. He has intuition. He's going to be able to get you out of trouble, where your sword can't, or keep you from having to draw.
He should have been the one that was able to tell your party not to step on the pit trap.
Yeah, he'd be like, you know what? Yeah, exactly. I can see him again going back to that D&D movie where he's the one standing at the bridge reading from the scroll. So you can only step on every other tile except for the third one. And then it's thief. I like how they don't go rogue or anything like that. It's a thief.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to old school, if you're backstabbing and sneaking and all that good stuff, you're a thief. Let's not play around. That's what we're here for. It's what we're doing. So yeah, then you start to to develop your age, your name. Your age is important as far as how you make this character. It depends on how many skills you want. If you want someone more physical, you make them young. If you want someone more up on their skills, you make them old. And then so that allows you to have more trained skills. Trained skills are very important because when you get your skills are derived from your ability scores. Right here, your ability scores, and then that gives you your base chance in that skill. But if you're trained in it, that's doubled. That takes your middling 5 base chance on a skill to a 10. Which on a D20 is half the time you're making it. So that's good to know. Absolutely. I love how the movement is played out here. The elves, each race is kin. It can be set up in their movement speed. Wolfkins are by far the fastest, and then they also get an agility bonus too. If you're really quick, you're going to be faster. So Wolfkin can move 16, has a movement of 16, which is how many meters you can move, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can move 16 meters. That's 50 something feet.
So fun fact, I just learned this. A bald eagle is an average bald eagle is 1 meter.
Yeah.
So my party, they now reference how many bald eagles can I move? And the reason they brought that up is because because I told them it's a Swedish RPG brought to English and everything. They're like, oh, well, this is how we make it more American. It's you can move 16 bald eagles.
and I know you're wanting to say it, James. I know you're. We just shared a meme with each other. What was it earlier this week?
What is it
How
like
about
washing machines or something?
about how Americans will use any kind of unit of measurement to avoid having to use the metric system, and it
Yep.
showed like a 2x4, and on it was like 242 D's. I'll let
Yeah.
you fill out what D's are.
Yes.
And this was machine printed on the 2x4, and
on
it
the
was used in
2x4.
construction.
242 D's.
Well,
You know,
the guys that I ran the TPK that had the TPK, they're the ones that came up with this, and they're all two of them are electricians. So I don't know if that plays into it or not, but yeah.
Yeah, that is perfect. That is perfect. But yeah, I mean, 2 meters, a little over 6 feet.
Mhm.
You know, it's not that hard. You know, meters a little over 3 feet. You know, um, 3 feet like
3
2 or
inches.
4 inch. Is it 2 inches or
3.
3? Yeah, 3 feet 3 inches. Okay, but yeah, I love how they changed from the motivations to the weaknesses. And here again, not any of these that are in the green, these are optionals. You don't have to use them, but man, they add a lot of flavor. They make this character that you got a flawed character. You know, uh, definitely if somebody's like, Monster Slayer, all monsters are evil, must be slain. I don't
Mhm.
give a damn about that poor pathetic little goblin. I'm gonna kill him. You know, that's how it works. Uh, but yeah, it helps instead of like having to worry about alignment. You're like, well, how do I feel about that? Well, this is one of the weaknesses I have.
And I'm so glad they didn't go down the alignment path.
Thank you, thank
I'm
you.
so glad because it just doesn't get used anymore. It doesn't
No,
get used anymore.
no, 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 not at all. Gear is written in like an item of weight. Each some of them maybe 2 or 3 items or something like that.
Mhm.
Most of your weapons that you carry like on your belt, like up to 3, won't count against you as far as encumbrance or anything like that. Armor does or doesn't. I can't remember.
It's because you're wearing it. So, like, technically, you're wearing everything. Like, you're wearing it all.
Yeah,
But, like, armor, clothing, and weapons that are on hand do not count against you.
yeah, and not even like your shield can be counted as like one of your at
Mhm.
hand things.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's great. But yeah, once you start to get past that, all the stuff that you're putting in your backpack, which does double
Mhm.
your because you got it in backpack, you got it on straps, wearing it on your back, you're keeping it all using your core, which is good. So yeah, that's where we talk more about it there. Yeah, weapons at hand, helmets, and armor. I do love how like yeah, you can wear armor, but it's going to suck for you in certain things, and you
Mhm.
can wear a helmet and armor, but helmet, but it's going to suck for you for certain things. Yeah.
Have to roll it
Now,
Bane.
now this I found intriguing, and I know we're not covering magic right now,
Mm-mm.
but the fact that the wizard
Mhm.
can't use anything made of iron
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's
Something.
bigger than tiny, and tiny is something that fits in your palm and can
Mhm.
be covered up.
Yeah.
Something about the iron and magic. It's the I don't know. Maybe it's the magnetic field around it. Who
Well,
knows?
it's a very
Thanks for
old.
throwing friggin' science in my fantasy game, Jonathan.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's just an old Fey thing,
Yeah, but
fairies and stuff hate iron, witches hate iron. Yeah.
I
so
ruin it for my players. I'll ruin it for you too, sir.
Oh my God.
so you just stay about, I don't know, a couple of 100 eagles away, all right? But
Oh.
I wanted to bring that up because there's a lot of little nuanced flavor
Mhm.
that really makes this game stand out. It's
It
pretty
does.
cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. When your character makes experience, I love how they use these landmark rules rather than, oh, you got 10 experience points for killing that goblin. You got 20 experience points for killing that hobgoblin. Here
The
it,
the
a
little
point.
tick marks.
Yeah.
I know it's going blurry, but the little boxes that are next to the skills,
Hmm.
they're supposed to check those off, and that way at the end of the session, everybody can count it together, and that's your number.
Yeah. Yeah, after you're replacing your marks, you roll a d20 for each of them. If the result exceeds your current skill, yeah, this is a lot like Call of Cthulhu. You want to roll over in this time because as your skill gets higher, it's going to be harder to improve.
Hmm.
That just makes sense. Um, yeah, having a teacher on hand to be able to help you train in that skill. Magic can be done through books and stuff like that as well. Then you can gain new heroic abilities. Yeah, when you increase the skill level to 18, you immediately gain a new heroic ability. After a grand heroic deed, the GM will be like, you get a new heroic ability for slaying that dragon or saving that kid. So that's really cool. You can overcome a weakness. I
Hmm.
like that. That's a cool optional rule you can allow.
They
Uh,
support so much role play in this game.
yeah,
Just like
mhm.
that, like you were talking about, they just they want you to do so much role play, and that's the part that I really love about it. They expect it, they want it.
Well, and you want that in this game because combat is so brutal. We won't have time to
Mhm.
talk much about it tonight, but combat is so brutal. When somebody draws a sword, somebody's
Something's
it's
going
on.
down.
It's on. It's just like when I used to run Star Trek. You could fight hand to hand forever. But somebody draws a phaser. That can kill me.
Yes.
You know. But but yeah, same thing with this. Somebody draws a sword, like I am going to kill you. We're not playing anymore. And you can push rolls, and weapons do 2d6 damage, and you got 14. Armor is your best friend at that point. um yeah, there's all the different skills, and then there's boons and banes that you can get on the roll. Multiple boons and stuff like that, which basically you can roll twice and pick the lower or higher based on whether it's a boon or a bane. You
And the
can get
boons and the banes are your advantage and disadvantage for the
yeah
Dragon Bane.
yeah you could get multiple ones. They can stack. Yeah, so you can roll like 3 dice and pick the worst or the best. Yeah. So definitely I like how they put in here the optional help roll, rather than having like 4 people make the roll and waiting to see if somebody makes it. Yeah. you know they can say I'm helping, and then you get a boon on the roll. You got to decide which ones are helping and which ones actually making the roll. So that makes sense. I like being able to do that. Then you can push your roll. You can double up on it basically, but if you do it, you get a condition.
Hmm.
And if you suffer from any of those conditions, anything that has to do with that trait, that ability, is on a bane. So
Hmm.
if you get exhausted, all your strength abilities, including your weapon combat and all that stuff, is at a bane. If you're angry, trying to do anything intellect based is at a bane. Yeah, really cool stuff. And then they just start moving to other ones. If this is already taken, well, then we might move to scared. you know, so yeah, absolutely. Um, I love how that's worked. Really, really well done. Opposed rolls are pretty simple. You can make it the opposed roll. If you make it, they don't. You win. If you both make it, the one that's lowest wins. Pretty smart. Core skills, I like. There's not a whole ton of skills, but is in here is pretty generic. I like how they have bushcraft. This is anything that has to do like in nature. You
Hmm.
know, building a fire, making camp, following trails, stuff like that. All that stuff is bushcraft. This is survival. Evade. When you're trying to dodge, one of the ways that you can avoid getting hit, because they're always going to hit. you know,
I
uh,
did I did wonder why they didn't put hunting and fishing and bushcraft together.
that is interesting. Yeah,
I mean, I see the distinction. Bushcraft is,
You're
you go to
making
camp for the summer.
yeah.
yeah,
You put your tent out, you do this, you brought food with you, that sort of stuff. Hunting and
yeah.
fishing is actually getting the food.
Yeah, that makes sense to me now that we say it like that, because yeah, I can make the camp, I can cook the food, I can stay warm. But can I fish? You may just suck at fishing. You may be too loud, suck at hunting. But you can build the fire.
I failed that as a Boy Scout.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. That's fine, But yeah, I mean, all the weapon skills, then all the great of heroic abilities, that some of them are when you're first starting out, you get a heroic ability that's already pegged to the character. But
Now,
then,
just as a point, those of you watching at home, this is done in alphabetical order. This is not
Mhm.
the tone of the game. It's not assassinate and backstab people.
Yeah, yeah, right off the bat, right off the bat, we're gonna backstab and assassinate. That's all we're gonna do.
Oh,
But yeah, your sneak attack does an extra GA damage. Yeah, I mean all
and
the great skills.
they give prerequisites or the requirements that you have to have if you want to take this. Like you have to be, for back, your skill has to be trained in it or proficient if that's what you're used to
Yeah,
get the skill or
yeah,
heroic ability.
hmm yeah, absolutely. So you have all these really great skills in here, and they added a lot more, which when they made the different ones. One thing that was really intriguing to me is that you don't have to be a mage to
Mm-mm,
do spells
mm.
now. If you can pick up that feat, that heroic ability later on, you can have a bard that can know a few spells.
Allows you to multi-class
Yeah,
or
that's really
multi-profession.
a little bit, but I mean, it just gives you like, oh my, yeah, it just gives you like that slight ability in it.
Mhm.
Just
Uh,
remember that your bird can't have any iron on him.
yeah,
But
exactly.
multi-class away. It'll be fun.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Exactly. Uh, yeah, I don't want to really get into combat and stuff yet, so we'll stop there. And then next ones we'll talk into combat, which is really going to be the important stuff. The meat of the game. It's where most of the
Oh,
confusion and
so much
arguments and
fun.
stuff like that we'll get in on the rules. But yeah, go ahead, you guys, you GMs, go ahead and read ahead. If you don't have a copy of this from me yet, make sure to message me or email me or something. Go, hey man, I haven't gotten this, or I didn't, or I've lost where you put that, so we can make sure that we're all running from the same book. Uh, yeah, we're over time that I wanted, but guys, you guys got anything else you want to add? I'm sorry I did all the talk in this one.
Hey, power to you.
We chimed in. We had little things here and there. It's all good. It's all
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Excellent. So yeah, next time we meet, which probably for me won't be until the end of the month, because I'm actually may not even be till then. Yeah, it may be May before I see you again, because I got 3 back-to-back cons. One of them's virtual, but 3 back-to-back cons. I'm doing Chaosium Con this weekend. Jonathan and I are doing Lexicon the weekend after that, and then virtually the end of the month I'm doing online TravelerCon online, virtual Traveler. The Mayday celebration. I'm only running one game, but I'll also be running games here at home, so my weekend's already going to be kind of booked.
Do y'all have time throughout the week?
Well, now that I'm working evenings, I might be able to throw something together. Working mornings now, I might. Yeah, I can definitely do something like that.
Yeah, all of a sudden that Monday through Thursday becomes open. I'm busy on Friday.
It does. You're busy on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about that off screen and see if we
Yeah.
can't get together sometime during the week and get that going.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll get into the actual meat of the rules, the melee and range combat, how it all works next time we meet. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. You all.